Hi gardening friends, my name is Lark and I'm in Wisconsin, Zone 5. Let's take a slow walk through my garden. I'm probably one of the only gardens that you have a whole half hour of watching, and sometimes you speed through it and some you don't. Basket of Gold, Alyssum, perennial. Mom doesn't always come back, so it's a short-lived perennial, but it reseeds a lot, so some would call it invasive. I let it reseed and just pull out what I don't want. Corabels, I think this one was called Purple Majesty, I think. And these are all reseeds from the back garden. The spirea look great all 3 seasons, spring, summer, and fall. This golden with the orange apricot tips for now and into summer, and then a pink flower for summer, and then a burnt orange for fall. Sand cherry. Oh, and do the Japanese beetles love it. Global U's. And I'm walking the wrong way. I'm walking into the sun. So let me point you at the ground for a minute here. And I'll walk backwards. Yes, he sometimes fertilizes the grass. I think he uses 10-10-10, but not often. When he uses that, I do not put the grass clippings in my veggie garden. I put them in the perennial garden. I did plant my marigolds, but they're teeny tiny. You'll see orange later in the season. Lots of work to do yet. Some of you might be looking for a nice evergreen spreader, and these are the blue carpet junipers. And they're very nice, very dense. Unfortunately, the mice and the voles like them sometimes. But they come back. I mean, my parents who lived across the street cut theirs down to just nubs where the mom plant was coming out of the ground because there was so much damage, and they came back beautifully. It's just it takes a couple years. Not too much asparagus again. I don't know what happened, but comfrey's doing good in there. I didn't plant that. I didn't want comfrey in my asparagus patch, but oh well. Lots of calendula coming up. But most of you know I like to make an oil infusion for skin, and then I also dry the petals for tea. I add that to several of my teas, the calendula leaves in blend. Raspberries didn't come back. The old part of the cane didn't come back so good, so that means I probably won't have many raspberries in the first week in July. These will bear early, course, on the outside edge of the raspberry patch. So I will cut these dead looking sticks down, and they're coming from the ground, but then they will be later. So I won't have as good a harvest as I did last year. And of course they come back and spread. They go under the concrete block and I dig them out. Share them or toss them. My garlic. That one there is German, extra hardy. And then I planted peas along the iron fence. And then this garlic over here is red wing. And some big onions. Oh no, the onions are red wing. What is the garlic? Music. Music. Oh, that was a good one. That was good for Wisconsin. So having flowers in your garden, some of you are learning that it's really great. Attracts a lot of beneficial insects. And so my perennial gardens and annuals that come up here and there, my veggies really benefit from it. So calendula was here last year, so I let it reseed. What else was in there? Some marigolds I see coming back too. Cucumber will be planted there soon. I use the lasagna method of gardening. Layers of different mulch, like grass clippings and leaves and coffee grounds. And then I put a hoop house up this year with a fabric cover. I wanted to keep the butterfly off of here. So far, so good. I have parsley and kale and broccoli and some lettuces, green onions, cilantro's on the other end. On the other end, there's more plantings of kale and broccoli, kohlrabi, and beets. And I don't want that nasty butterfly in here. Okay, now I have to remember to weight it down. More big onions. What's the name of this one? Oh, who cares? You've seen onions grow. But the matter is here, more reseeds from calendula. And they're coming through the bark now. He just laid the bark over the seedlings, but they'll push through. So this will be a wall, hopefully, of calendula. And I'll use the chicken wire to support the calendula a little with, let's say, twine, so it doesn't flop over. It stands up. Oh, there's peas behind there too. Let me show you quick. There's peas over there too. But they don't get as much light, of course. I didn't plan on putting them there. I should have moved the hoop house back further, but I didn't. So we make do. They'll just bloom later, I think. Some cilantro and spinach going to seed. Beans were planted right there. Chives are going to blossom soon. Tomatoes, doing okay. Doing okay. Those I started on February 5th. The other tomatoes I don't have in yet. That's where the sticks are. Some of my peppers and my carrots are coming up. And I didn't find the pelletized carrots this year, so I sprinkled like a lot of you do. And I'll have to do some pulling. And some green onions. Some basil. Oregano's coming up. Sage, I don't see it. So I might buy another little plant. It grows quickly. More basil. Reuben basil. Peppermint. Yes, I put grass clippings over as one of the layers over leaves in my perennial garden. And it just feeds the earth. Makes better soil. Pink ajuga. My comfrey. Celandine poppy. Aggressive, yes, because all of these get these little pods on and dry up and spread. But this area here are all aggressive plants, most aggressive plants. Oriental poppy, orange. So they can duke it out. The aggressive plants, the strong will survive. My fairly new 2-year-old Annabelle. So this area last year was fairly empty. These were like one sprout of one root of daylily, or red, and same with the hostas, Sum and Substance. They were small. But what I did starting last summer was dig in my green waste from my kitchen, and the worms get some, and then my plants. I go away from the root ball. Like if I was going to do it now, I probably would dig in my garbage right here. Okay, far enough away, about a foot. And then by the time it breaks down, the roots of the plant will be feeding off of it. So they really liked it. I mean, they really liked it here. So I'm expecting a lot out of them for their second year. Oh, my biggest problem are violets. And I am not taking time, not too much time, to dig them out. They probably already have gone to seed. Again, you saw it yesterday or last week, Tea Time Tuesday, with the Jacob's Ladder. Sorry, I'm not going to start this video over. So, first the yellow celandine starts, then the Jacob's Ladder. So I have color under here for a while. Then there's crazy oxeye daisies. Those go crazy too, so that'll look good with a white. And then what else will bloom? Feverfew. That'll bloom later. What do I expect? I waited too long to take this video. I'm home all day. But it was rainy, misty, and not pretty up. Another aggressive plant, the woodland geranium. A nice golden sedum. I forget the name, but it comes back and spreads nicely, drought tolerant. So you guys, what I do to manicure, and my mom sometimes helps me. She did last year. I don't know if she will this year. I'm not asking her. She's getting too old. She's 88. She'll do it if she wants. But what we do is clear the edge, and about, a hand's width, so about 7-8 inches in, I will take out all the plants. I use the shuffle hole and just go along and toss everything, plants and all. There's my perilla, red leaf perilla, and it is all over. Can you see it? So that's going to be my later color. And where I see a perennial coming up, I will pull it out around it so it doesn't interfere with my perennial blooming. Barberries add nice color. I think I said it last week with the accent with the burgundy, how in the early season garden it adds a lot of interest. Smoke bushes are coming back. Maybe I'll pass one and show you. I lost part of my Japanese maple down below. On the right there it came back, but on the left it did not. But it will. I'll cut it off and it'll bush out in the bottom. The other Japanese maple that I lost a couple years ago came back from the ground. It's a couple years old from coming back. I don't know. I feel like I'm so repeating myself year after year. But If you were here with me, I'd be walking with a cup of tea and probably talking the same talk. A dwarf early blue iris. And iris, I like them, but oh boy, mine need digging up and dividing. Because I use the chop and drop method, after a number of years, then it gets the rhizome covered, and it doesn't like that. Prairie smoke. It looks pretty for so long. Even when it goes to seed, I think it's its prettiest. Fluffy. Spurge. You want to see mess? You tell me Lark's pretty garden. Look at all that grass in there. I will tear some of it out around the perennial and we'll see what happens. My husband says, oh well, let's dig the perennial out and then we will shake off all the grass around the root and then replant it again. I said, do you really think that the roots of that grass that are throughout that garden aren't going to come back? I'm not doing it. There was a time I would, but not now. So you guys, start small. You can always add. But for the last, 22 years about, I could do it. Oh, the last 20, I didn't complain about it. And I controlled it more. And this garden doesn't want to be controlled. Right now, it's kind of going wild. You see the sticks? That is my hibiscus. And I leave them up for a while. And I have chicken wire around it, so I know where to look for them. And also, I had cardboard down where you see, oh, let's see, I can't see in the screen here. And I have a balloon flower there. Yes, the violet's coming up, but there's a balloon flower in that area. And I marked it with the cardboard and leaves in that, so I look for it. Now, this is the fall blooming clematis. Sweet autumn. And I didn't take off the brown yucky stuff yet because in winter it's pretty because the snow catches on it. But in spring, sometimes it buds out, you know, on these dry sticks. So I wait to see if I see anything on the sticks, which I don't. So I'm going to be tearing those, all the old growth off. Okay. Pretty purple iris, a dwarf again, and a dandelion. In the morning, I have dandelion greens and kale and spinach usually cooked, and I put it in my bone broth. And I pick my dandelions and then I use them right away. Same with my salad. I just go out and pick them usually. Okay, you guys, you're going to see perilla up the wang wang this year. Look at, can you see all that? I hope I don't cry the blues that I dropped all this seed in here. But I think it's going to duke it out with the bee balm. Lucky I'm not a plant collector because I would be going crazy having all that reseed come up. More hydrangeas that I dug garbage into them too, the green waste, kitchen scraps. Greens only, of course. And I did the same. I dug in garbage around all these daylilies and the hydrangeas. Because when I split them, I was not generous. I only had a couple roots in each one. So I think they're going to do pretty good. I know you hear that stupid weed whacker going yet, but I'm walking away from it. I hope it's getting less noisy. You know, I'm so silly. I do Tea Time Tuesday on Tuesday. Okay? So Dave says, oh, why don't you do it on a Monday or a Sunday? They don't know what day it is. I said, because I'm calling it Tea Time Tuesday. That would be fibbing. But I might do that. And then pick the best video. Oh. Oh yeah, I see the trumpet vine. The trumpet vine tree is popping here. We'll see how much of it pops. Now this gets a lot of shade under here, so I'm surprised that these iris are even blooming. These need to be redone real bad. Okay, feverfew. Aggressive. Drop the seed around. You'll have pretty white ground cover. If you deadhead it, it will keep blooming and blooming. Those tiger lilies planted themselves. Where should we go, you guys? Oh, here's something pretty for a shade garden. It's a part shade. I'd say part shade, it does better. Is Sweet Cicely. It's an herb. Oh, so pretty. And just tastes like licorice. Black licorice. I think the Solomon seal variegated is choking out my bleeding heart. I'll have to take a look at that. Now last year these got hit, these Japanese ferns got hit by a late frost, so hopefully this year they don't. Trolleus, or globe flower. Lady's mantle. Told you last year too. Oh, underused perennial. Great ground cover. Drought tolerant. Nice. Underused. Inexpensive. Okay. There's a native plant called doll's eyes or baneberry. Comes in a white berry or a red. This has a white flower, but it'll turn a fire engine red. So it looks pretty for a long time with the red. And I spread that seed quite a bit in here too. Cleavers. Can you see this here? Cleaver. Or catch-all. Whoa. Sticks to my pants. This is edible. I wouldn't want to eat it. Maybe I don't think it loses its textured leaf, even when it's young and you eat it as a green. I'd have to be desperate, I think. Haphazard. I don't know how to do links, so I can't link her in here. But Haphazard really has a nice website on foraging and using wild edibles. And she's so sweet. I love listening to her. Haphazard. Uh-oh, Yaz. What did you ask me? Y-A-Z. You asked me to do something. Answer some questions. I gotta think about that. I'll answer them for sure. Maybe sometime Dave will take the video and I'll walk around with a piece of paper and remind myself what I'm going to talk about. Hostas coming up in between all this daffodils. Did I tell you that I was eating my fiddleheads ferns? This was the first time this year. Boy, the season doesn't last very long, though. It was a couple weeks and that was it. So good. I gave some to my mom too. Cooked them up for her and added butter, because everything's better with butter. Grass-fed butter. Some of you are laughing at me. But it is. They're good fiddleheads. Good edible. Wild edible. Lily of the Valley. Aggressive. But we like them. Pretty. Oh, I forgot to show you my red trilliums. These are the white ones that turned pink after they bloomed for a while. And they're reseeding finally. I can't believe it. They're doing good. My climbing hydrangea that I'm using this tree as a natural trellis. Wonder if it'll get a bloom on it. It only took the other climbing hydrangea over on the other trellis like 15 years to get a bloom on it. Good boggy plant. Shade, but if it is in the bog, then it'll take some sun. The rocket. And then all that on the ground, right in there, is jewelweed, about 5 to 6 feet tall. Boy, I'm going to watch this video, and if I don't like this, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. You'll just have to wait till next week, maybe. The foam flower, nice shade. Jack in the pulpit. See it in the pulpit here? Jack in the pulpit. Aren't you pretty? And lots of onions. Lots of onions. More Japanese painted ferns. Oh boy, now I'm walking towards them. Lungwort. See, there's a reseed of the trillium. Pretty. Whoever gets the house after us is going to have more. Goat's beard. Give me a tall white here up against the huge blue angel hostas. You certainly can't blame them for the sound. They don't have time to cut all the time. You see the mayapple? Right there. Hundreds of mayaples. The burgundy is firecracker loosestrife. Some more Trolleus. This one's a little golder, different kind. Likes this wet area. And then another Ligularia. Let's see, this one here has more burgundy leaves. It's called Orthello. Likes that wet area. And a sedge. Wet area again. Where should we walk, you guys? What time is it? Uh-oh, it's going to end. I'm going to have to say bye. Maybe I will come back and walk the wild area with you, if you guys would like that. That won't be so long, but walk the wild area. Marsh marigold. In the woods, in the bog. Thank you, you guys. Enjoy your comments. I really like when you give me suggestions of what you want to hear. A weed whacker is not what you want to hear. I know that. Okay, bye-bye. Take care and happy gardening.